Yeah, that's cool. No worries.
Don't stare right at the camera.
This one here?
Don't stare right.
Okay.
We ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're rolling.
Okay, how's your day going?
My day's going well so far. How about
Okay,
you guys?
so-
What is your name?
Yeah, what
My
is
name
your
is Max Venable.
Where were you born?
I was born in Parsons, Kansas.
Where's that even at?
It's in Labette County, southeast Kansas.
Who was more strict, your mother or your father?
It depended. I mean, they were both in their own way, but I'll probably have to say my mom, for being honest. Yeah.
Did you get in a lot of trouble growing up?
Not a ton, but my share. Not as much as you guys.
Yeah. How did your family earn money?
My mom was and is a special education teacher. And my dad, when I was younger, worked in like juvenile services. He ran a group home for juvenile delinquents. And then after a while, he moved into the trucking industry and worked for Dr. Pepper 7-Up and delivered like all of the pop
Yeah.
in the world. And then when we moved to Kansas, he got a job working for a concrete company, and he's been doing that for the last 15 years, I think.
So has education always been your job idea in life, or what was your first idea for a job?
No. It's obviously like changed a number of times. It wasn't really ever on my radar to go into education, if I'm being honest. I knew at an early age I wanted to help people. I kind of had a just like a natural interest in that, like kind of a natural capacity to do so. So I, kind of gravitated towards medicine pretty early on. But when I figured out I didn't want to be in school forever, and my interest changed a little bit when I was about your guys' age, I started looking into like behavioral and mental health, and grew an interest in that area. When I got to college, they sat you down and you did like a kind of like an interest inventory, like the things that I bore you guys with, and they go, okay, well, we got a guy we want you to meet, and he ended up becoming my advisor in my undergrad, and he was somebody who his career was in what was called vocational rehabilitation. So his job in a lot of ways was advocating for people with disabilities so that they could have equal access to employment. He ended up becoming a professor in that area, worked at the University of Florida, got a PhD, probably one of the smartest people I've ever met. And he was also one of the first people who like saw through like the very unrefined qualities of me and was like, there's something in you that I think we can mold and, turn you into maybe a little bit better of a person than you are. And having that kind of person take me under their wing was really important. So I ended up finishing my undergrad in what was called rehabilitation services, which in a lot of ways is like the minor leagues of counseling. They give you a pretty like foundational base of like what it looks like to help people, but don't really give you any sort of real skills that you can use. So it's kind of like a scam to get you to go to grad school. And when I just turned 22 and I was getting ready to apply to grad school, and the options that I had to make a decision about. And this advisor, Dr. Costello, his now ex-wife, was a school counselor up in Topeka. And one time during our internship class, he talked us through kind of what her typical day looked like. And I was like, I think I'd kind of like that. And I had, like I mentioned, my mom was a teacher, survived, kept my head afloat so that I didn't have to worry about doing homework.
Yeah.
All right, this will be our last question.
Okay, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
What has been the most difficult thing that's ever happened to you in your life?
I don't know. I mean, I think one of the things that helped me, like
it took the longest to process and like.
Sure.
It's hard.
I think so. Like when I just turned 18 years old. I had an uncle who struggled his entire life. He was born deaf, developed mental illness throughout the course of his life, and he was murdered in Kansas City. Right during like the beginning of my senior year of high school. Just trying to like juggle like that very like important part in a young man's life. So that was pretty tough. And then shortly thereafter, I lost another uncle to a suicide just under 10 years ago the other day. And then the final blow of that, tirade in my life was my grandfather, who I was really close with, passed away just right after I graduated from high school. And they say that things like that kind of come in threes, and that certainly was the truth there. So there was, I don't know, in a lot of ways there was like good outlets that I had to help me process like the first two losses that I had. But when our family lost him, that was kind of tough. I was outside of like organized and structured activities for the first time in my life. And I stayed busy with work, and that was like the summer I bought my first motorcycle, so that kept me really busy the entire time. But I had something to kind of like dump my thoughts into, and kind of get away from things. But by the time I got to college, it was like, in all honesty, I felt like I was running from it. I wasn't taking the time to deal with it, and like my health got really, really bad. I stopped taking care of myself, and really like that was kind of like here's a word for you, the impetus of my journey towards wellness. Like I had to make some changes because I saw how it was affecting me, and it took a long time for like that callus to build up and just be like, okay, this is getting out of hand. We got to do something about this. And really from that point forward, it's kind of been like just a continuous like upward trend, like of like recognizing like how things in our life affect us, and then like how we can respond to it. In a lot of ways, that was like the building block of like the resilience that I try to have every single day. Because I saw, I guess on one hand, what it looks like to like negatively cope with it, and then I saw how in changing my habits and changing my mindset about things, you could more positively deal with things. And I think in a lot of ways that sort of rewired the structure of how I react to stuff that's difficult. So, I mean, without a doubt, that was probably one of the hardest times of my life. But, it challenged me, it challenged my family. And I like to think that of my family members, I probably came out of it a little bit better than they did. But I also had a lot of good things going in my life, I didn't allow it to like detract from that. Yeah. I really engaged in like my experience in college, and took a lot of good classes and met a lot of good people, and all that stuff really helped like shape my worldview and my perspective. And and a lot of it was, I guess, just informal learning, really. I mean, just really like recognizing the opportunities that were there and just trying to like make the most of them, without anybody really telling you to do so. So there you go.
All right, that'll wrap it up.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome, guys.
Cheers.
Good questions. As a teacher, my grandma, her mother was a teacher. My grandpa was a teacher and a coach for a number of years. So I've had a number of people in my life in education, and in a lot of ways I've kind of always been around it. So I kind of just combined the two things that I had been around the most, and turned it into a career.
What's one lesson that you learned that was hard to learn? Like you learned it the hard way?
Shoot, I could think of a number of things
Well, what's
that
like the
come to
one that
mind.
you comes to mind the most?
Like, which one gave you the most difficulty overcoming and like learning that you have to?
Maybe it wasn't so much just like a hard lesson, but like just a really important one. One that I couldn't emphasize enough to people is just the value of like being able to listen, like being able to like understand somebody else before you feel the need to have to like, this is what I have to say about it. Like being able to listen.
Not blowing them off and just yelling.
Exactly. Like listening with intention and with purpose is really a valuable skill, and it's something that we teach you guys how to read, we teach you how to write, we teach you how to do math, we teach you how to build things in the shop. We don't ever teach you how to listen. We just expect that you know how to do that, and there's actually a skill behind it, and it's something that I think if everybody knew how to do just a little bit better, it'd be pretty interesting.
How many siblings do you have?
Siblings? I have two younger sisters.
What do you remember about your 20s?
Well, I'm still in them, so hopefully a lot. I think,
Your teens?
I mean, honestly, like from, when I think of like the self, right? When I think of like the person behind the face, the experience that I have of what it's like to be me, I think of it almost in like three distinct iterations. Like three pockets of memories or phases of time in which I guess existed, if that makes sense to you guys. And like, I can't emphasize this enough to you. Like the last like 10 years of my life have just flown by. Like I cannot emphasize how quickly it's happened. It is so like close in the mirror of my memories and of my life that like it's almost on top of my present reality. So the last, I'd say 10 years and like the speed at which they've went by is something I really remember. But what I have gleaned and what I will remember most from that is just my growth as a person. Like my very intentional effort to become like self-aware and aware of like the world around me and like how I interact in it and how I contribute to it. Like that was really kind of the neatest thing that I discovered in the last 10 years, just really like I said, like taking like kind of a raw prospect, right? Somebody who maybe has skills in one area or another, but really just like refining those and like making it whole and like complete. That's what I'll probably remember most about this chapter of my life.
Did you like school?
I did. I mean, I wasn't like a go-getter necessarily. Like I didn't like push myself. I've always liked learning. Like every day I learn. I learn about myself and others and the things that I'm interested in, and like I have like a pretty like strong pursuit to continue to do that for a long time. Like in like my formal education is something that I really value. I can go on and on and on about how beneficial like my grad degree was to me and like how it changed to who I am. But like when I was your guys' age, like not so much. Like I liked school. I liked the social aspect of it. I liked competing. I never struggled academically except for in math, but that's because I didn't push myself either, and I didn't have people that were like, "What? Something's just not quite right. Like, what are you missing here?" I just, kind of skirted by and, didn't really.
Survived.
Yeah, I survived. Kept my head afloat so that